Why does Karen Wheeler have massive scars here, but they've disappeared here?
Karen's scars are there, you just can't see them because of the camera angle. Here's behind the scenes pictures to prove it.
How did Max graduate when she was in a coma for a year and a half?
She obviously got help from the party to catch up on her studies, plus I'm pretty sure the school would have leeway for someone who was literally in a coma. Not to mention, she's best friends with the valedictorian.
Joyce and Hopper were friends with Henry Creel in 1959, yet never acknowledged their friend is Vecna.
They weren't friends with Henry, they just knew of him. This is established in the stage play.
What happened to Dr. K?
After Elle's supposed death, her and the military packed up and left Hawkins since they had no reason left to be there.
What happened to all those pregnant women in the Upside Down?
The pregnant women died when the Upside Down was destroyed, Not that it mattered anyway, since Callie literally said that they were dying because their bodies were rejecting her blood.
Did the rest of the Turnbow family survive their drugged pie?
Even though we don't see them again, I'm almost certain Derek's family did not die, considering they were only given a very small amount of benzos. They were probably just let go.
Why are leaves falling when graduation is set in spring?
I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea what this means.
How come there's no scar from Henry's gunshot wound he got as a child?
It likely healed over, considering the fact that when he picks up the rock containing the Mind Flayer particles, we see it fuse with his hand.
Nancy killed multiple soldiers but doesn't face any consequences. If the Demogorgons and Demodogs originated from the Abyss, how come there aren't any in the final battle?
I let these two play out because I actually agree, these are major plot holes that don't really make a whole lot of sense.
Are we expected to know the entire plot of the stage play to understand vital plot points of the show?
I agree that the stage play's existence does mess with the timeline a lot, but I was still able to follow along without it.
Speaking of which, the briefcase in the cave. Why did the writers change its contents from advanced military tech, as seen in the play, to a pulsating black stone?
These 2 points contradict each other. He's complaining that you have to watch the stage play to understand a core part of Henry's backstory in the season, but it's also complaining that they changed an aspect that was established in the stage play.
How did Derek get through that hole? How did Hopper get his police chief job back when, for the last 2 years, he was either imprisoned in Russia or presumed dead? Considering this, how did Hopper get a job offer in Montauk?
A lot can happen in a year and a half. It's not unreasonable that Hopper simply explained where he was and how he didn't actually die. Plus, if your best sheriff came back to life, you'd probably give him his job back too. Although, I would have liked to see how people reacted to finding out he was still alive.
Lucas was brutally stabbed and injured in episode 504, but the next day he's carrying around Max like nothing's happened.
Considering he was able to walk perfectly fine immediately after being tended to, I wouldn't say he was severely injured.
Will's been physically linked to Vecna and the Hive Mind, but when Vecna is destroyed, there's seemingly no connection.
This is a quote-unquote plot hole that I see a lot of people bring up, but it doesn't really make sense to me. They say multiple times throughout the season that Will's powers are innate, meaning that he can now operate independently of the hive mind, even if he has to connect to it to actually use his newfound powers. Essentially, he's no longer permanently connected to the hive mind, so no, he does not feel every single thing Vecna and the Mind Flayer feel.
Are Susie and Dustin still dating? She's never seen or mentioned in the final season.
I agree, I would have liked to find out what happened between Susie and Dustin, but the likely explanation is that they broke up between seasons 4 and 5 due to Dustin's depression around Eddie's death.
Where's Argyle?
Argyle evacuated back to California at the end of season 4.
Where's Dr. Owens?
Although this isn't technically a plot hole, I will 100% agree. This is probably one of my biggest issues with the final season. Considering how much of an impact he left on the series, he should have at least appeared during the epilogue.
Are Robin and Vicky still together?
Yes, during the final scene with Robin, Jonathan, Nancy, and Steve, she mentions having an overbearing significant other. So yes, they're still together.
Is Mr. Clark still banging the librarian?
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
What happened to Murray?
He's literally after graduation.
Max sees young Joyce in Henry's memories, but never confronts her about it.
Probably because it's not relevant.
In early seasons, the Upside Down was depicted as having no liquid, yet somehow enough water is found to fill this tank.
Fair enough, that's another plot hole.
Will recalls visiting Melvold's general store for milkshakes, yet milkshakes are only shown sold there in the stage play over 25 years earlier. Why did the power lever at the Squawk radio station change?
The power lever changed because of props and behind-the-scenes stuff. This isn't important.
If Eleven's death was an illusion generated by Kale, how did she maintain it when it was the lab where she was last seen that exploded first?
The entire Upside Down was destroyed almost instantly when the reactor exploded. Just because they show Callie dying first and then 11 supposedly dying does not mean it is happening in that order. These two events are happening at the same time.
Why was the Upside Down frozen on November 6, 1983?
The Upside Down was frozen on November 6, 1983 because that was the night Will, Vecna's first victim, was taken.
If the Upside Down's frozen, how come Will can see the Christmas lights and letters which were purchased and hung up after that date?
Good point. Another plot hole.
How did Max go from blinded, limbs snapped in multiple places, and brain dead to 100% normal?
Max wasn't brain dead. She was in a trance. They explicitly say this multiple times in the season. As for being blinded and having her limbs snapped, broken limbs can heal. And about her blindness, it's never specified just how blind she really was. There are real documented cases of people who have regained their sight after traumatic experiences. And again, considering she was in a coma for almost 2 years, it is very likely that she healed from most of her injuries.
The show never definitively answers who's in charge of Henry. Does he control the Mind Flayer particles, or do they control him?
Now you're just blatantly lying. In fact, I'm just gonna play the full scene, well, as much as I can without getting copyrighted.
You were just a kid, and it used you. But you can resist it.
No. It showed me the truth. It has never controlled me. And I never controlled it. I could have resisted it, but I chose to join it. It needs me, and I need it. We are one.
In summary, Henry is not being controlled by the Mind Flayer. The two have a symbiotic relationship.
In Season 4, Vecna tells Eleven that she had banished him to a new place, but from the stage play we know he visited there when he was 9 years old.
Banished to a new place doesn't necessarily mean banished to a place you've never been before. Plus, in this scene, he's talking to 11, and to 11, Dimension X would be a place that she's never heard of nor been to.
What happened to the third waterfall Mike talked about? Well, there is a super tiny one over here. Does that count?
Yes, it's a waterfall. There's 3 waterfalls.
Why did Vecna need exactly 12 kids? Was it a clock reference? It seemed to be a part of a ritual that's never explained.
Vecna needed 12 kids because it ties into the clock symbolism. It was established that, as a kid, he would frequently count time and stare at his family's old grandfather clock. It's the same reason why throughout Season 4, one of Vecna's calling cards when he's targeting his victims is they start seeing visions of grandfather clocks.
Why didn't Will control any of the Demogorgons who are supposed to originate from the Abyss in the final battle against Vecna?
Again, the Demogorgons not being there is a plot hole, but why did you make this 2 separate points?
The attack on Hawkins was covered up as an earthquake, but thousands of Hawkins residents, including military personnel, saw the monsters.
Except that's not true. Anytime the Demogorgons have attacked this season, it has always been primarily the main cast of characters or the military. The only time people outside of those two groups interacted with a Demogorgon were Karen Wheeler and Ted Wheeler, Mike, Nancy, and Holly's parents. So no, the residents of Hawkins do not know about the Demogorgons in the Upside Down.
How did Elle get into high school with no social security number or elementary education?
Considering Dr. Owens allowed Hopper to adopt Elle at the end of Season 2, he likely provided him with all of that information.
How does Joyce afford to move the entire family to California on a retail worker's salary?
Dr. Owens had them relocated to California, so Joyce presumably didn't pay anything.
How come they didn't try using the military's sound emitters against Vecna?
When would they have gotten the chance to?
How come you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel?
Because of videos like this.